Alright everyone, back for part 2. In this video I'm going to show you how to install the SQL database for SCCM. The version that I'm using is the 2012 version of SQL. I am using the evaluation edition, since the real version costs a lot of money. I believe you can use SQL Express. I'm actually unsure about that. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to use how to install it first. So as you can see, I'm on my server, the SCCM SQL server. The installation sits in my C drive, so I'm just going to run that. Alright, that sometimes can take a few minutes to load up. I am also going to follow a PDF document that I've got with notes from last time I've installed it. I have installed it a few times. A few times have messed up for me. So I always like to double check my work. Go to the installation tab on the SQL Server Installation Center. What we want to do now is go to New SQL Server. We want to make a standalone installation. Now, hope it doesn't ask me to install any server roles or features. I don't believe I noted that down last time. So, passed all 8. That's a good start. This process shouldn't take too long. So there we go, evaluation. So I do want to use the full version. I don't want to use Express. We'll go next. Setup could not search for updates to the Windows update service. Okay, I'm just going to go next. I actually think it's because I have a static DNS set. Ignore this. This is not part of the installation. Yep. So I'm just going to add the gateway. Alright, back to it. So obviously on a server this will be a lot quicker. My virtual environment is struggling, also recording the screen and running 2 other virtual services, one being a domain controller and the future console. So looks good so far. I am expecting to get a few firewall rule errors, but obviously we'll work past that. Yep, firewall rule. So everything's pretty good. Now this is the part that I remember. Yep, sorry. So we want SQL next. Now feature setup. Now I'm just going to read the notes. So we want database engine services. We want reporting. Reporting is in one of my builds I left reporting out. That comes back to bite you. Now the reason why it comes back to bite you is because when you do a software center, you want to know who has downloaded the software that you advertise. So always remember to turn that on. That looks about it from memory and from what I've got in my notes. So, and if you forget to turn these on, it's not a big deal. It's when you've got an existing installation that you've used for a year and then you try to make a change in the database. I've tried it before and you run into a lot of issues. So you might as well set it how you want in the first place. Now I'm just going to use the default instant name. So now this is where you might want to change it to say SCCM database or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to go next. By the way, this SQL setup is the same, is not just for SCCM, it's how to set up a SQL server anyway for anything else. So it's not really a special way of setting it up. So it's from memory. Let's go to automatic. Oops. They all have to be on automatic. This is where the service account comes in handy, because you have to actually use the service account for this. Now, why isn't it letting me put in a password? I think it's actually because I'm logged in. Oh no, I'm logged in as local admin. Yep, worked it out. So we want to go DC SCCM DC SCCM. Alright, leave that normal. Now, I'll just make sure that's my domain. Obviously, I built this setup not that long ago. So, yep, that's fine. I'll just double check my notes. Alright, cool. So that should do a validation anyway. Alright, so we want to, in this part, Windows authentication mode, we want to add the current user, but we also want to add the SCCM user. Then we want to go next. That will do another validation. We want it to install and configure. Now I believe there's a part that I've actually missed. We have to change it to just bear with me for a minute. Yep, that's fine. So I know in older versions of SQL you had to choose that SQL underscore Latin 1. I'm not too sure what that is. Next, 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 next. Click install. Now that's going to take about, well, could take about 20 minutes. So once that's installed, just do a reboot of the computer or the server, and that's about it. There's nothing you have to do on the database side yet until we start installing the console. So I'll see you next video. See ya.